This episode of Jac is brought to you by Weaver Leather.
On today's episode of Jac, we're going to see how Jac responds to a new rider.
You've watched me ride Jac for the last year, but nobody else has ever stepped on him. How does it feel to be the first one to step on him, and what are you anticipating or thinking you might feel?
Well, I'm excited about stepping on him. I mean, he's such a cool horse to watch go around. He's naturally so collected, and he has a lot of drive. He looks strong and powerful, and so I anticipate all those things. I anticipate him feeling strong, powerful, athletic. When I say powerful, I mean like when he turns around, he looks like he really gets his hindquarters up under him, elevates his front end. When he stops, he really gets deep into the ground. Just when he's going around, he looks like he has a lot of drive in his hindquarters, and he uses his front end well. He looks nice and collected in his face, and so, you know, I think he looks like he's going to be a lot of fun to ride. I'm excited about riding him.
It'll be interesting to see Jac ridden because I've had quite a bit of feedback from the video camera, but I've never seen him ridden because he's never been ridden by anybody else. So it'll be interesting because there's times that during the training you're doing specific maneuvers or just watching the training that I don't watch hours of myself training Jac. I watch enough of it to be able to do one of the episodes, but we're not videotaping every single day. And a lot of times when we videotape an episode, we just come out and videotape for a specific thing, where in this I'm going to actually be able to sit on the sidelines and watch Jac go through maneuvers. And it will be interesting to see Jac with a different rider and see how he responds to the different feel, to the slightly different cues, even just leg differences, weight, where you put the cue. And it'll be interesting to see what Jac does. He's been a very confident horse, so it'll just be fun to watch his body language and his expression to see how he takes this.
Now, a lot of people know that I rode Roxy for the Live Like You Were Dying, but what they don't really know is that I trained her as a 2-year-old, but then you took over and trained her as a 3-year-old and showed her and won stuff with her. So you were there during Roxy's beginning, you were an integral part of her training, and then you saw the bridleless go on. What pieces do you see of Roxy in Jac? Are there any that you see? And are there any places you think you might feel her? And then we're going to do a post-ride interview and see what you thought.
Okay. Roxy was a little more elegant looking than Jac. She moved a little different. They both have a lot of drive in the back end. They're both naturally kind of go around collected. Jac just looks more powerful. He's thicker and a little more compact. And so, you know, he looks different going around than Roxy did, and so I anticipate him just feeling more powerful, stronger, more physical than she was.
Now, this is more in general, not necessarily specific to Jac, but you've ridden hundreds, if not thousands, of horses over the years. How accurate do you feel you've been when you've seen horses ridden and then you've gotten on? Because, for example, you would give lessons and then you'll get on somebody's horse during a lesson and help them out, or you'll have a horse that somebody will send in training, but they might bring it over and say, here's my horse, I want to put it in training, and you'll watch them ride it around. And how accurate do you feel like you can watch one and really know what it's going to feel like? To what extent do you think you can be accurate with what it's going to feel like?
Yeah, to a certain extent, I can tell, you know, a lot about what it's going to feel like, but the way things look and the way things feel can be a lot different. I mean, when you go in and show a horse, sometimes you come out and think it felt like a train wreck, and people think it looked great, and the judge scores it great. So the way things look and the way things feel can be different. But as far as being able to tell what the horse is going to feel like when I climb on it. Everyone rides a little different. You and I ride together a lot, but we still ride different. I mean, we're built different. We feel different to the horse. We use our legs, maybe one uses the legs a little stronger. We sit maybe a little different, so it feels different to the horse, and so they're going to respond different than they would with the person that normally rides them or trains them. And so, with Jack, he might be a little confused when I get on him about some of the requests I make, and that'll be okay. He won't get in trouble for being confused, but that happens a lot when you get on someone else's horse. We all ride just a little bit differently, and sometimes the horse is just confused about what it is we're asking.
You can see how I got a break of gait.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can definitely see how you got a break of gait. He comes back hard.
One of the reasons that I wanted to make this video right now is because I'm planning on taking a trip next week, and I'm going to be gone for at least 10 days. And my choices are to either take Jack with me, which would be somewhat beneficial because I can actually take him to a horse show and ride him around some, but I'll lose a lot of training time in downtime. And Jack's been to a few different events. That's not primarily where his focus needs to be right now. Right now, his focus needs to be on getting his maneuvers more solid. And I actually think that it could benefit Jack for Jesse to ride him. Jesse's really good at working the turnaround. Obviously, we ride together a lot. And I think that one of the things that's made us so successful over the years is that our training complements one another. Now, one thing that we did figure out years ago was that if we switched trainers too often, even though Jesse and I ride a lot alike, it wasn't good for the horses. What I mean by that is that if we switched trainers frequently, the horses got more nervous. And I think it's a lot like when you have a child that's in school and they're learning and they have comfort from having that one teacher and that teaching style they get used to. And then I think what happens is that if we start switching riders every other day, once in a while you can say, get on and can you look at this? And in a training day like today, actually, Jesse's not gonna do that much training with Jack. He's just gonna be feeling things out. But if I go ahead and ask him to ride him, I will go ahead and let him ride him for probably close to 2 weeks, just for some of that consistency, because I think that it's good for the horses, but we did see negative consequences for me riding one for 3 days and then him riding one for 3 days and then me riding it for 2 days years ago when we used to do that kind of stuff.
First time anybody else has changed leads on him. So you just stepped off your first ride. How did Jack feel? Was it about what you expected?
Yeah, it was a lot like I thought it would be. He was very collected, powerful feeling. Between the reins, he moved off my legs nice. He felt really good. Felt a lot like I thought he would.
Were there any places he felt confused?
Yes, there were. When I was actually circling to the right, he was confused when I came across the middle. He wasn't guiding as well as he does with you because he was just confused as to what I was asking. He also got a little confused in my lead change and my downward transition from my large, fast, small, slow circle.
Mm-hmm. Were there any places that he reminded you of Roxy?
Yeah, loping around, the way he guides, he holds his head down low, and he drives a lot with his back end. And so, yeah, there were places he felt like Roxy.
In the places where Jack felt a little bit confused by a new rider, did he feel scared or intimidated, or did he have a tendency to break down? Was there any consistency in how he responded to the confusion?
He didn't feel scared and intimidated at all. He felt like he thought he knew the answer, and the answer was to slow down.
So that was what caused the break of gait during the loping around, and then a couple times when you picked up on him, he just kept going, hey, what about slowing down?
Right. When I ran my large, fast circles and came to the middle, asked him to slow down, I sat back a lot, and I probably exaggerated it more than you do, and so he just broke gait. He thought I wanted him to slow down.
Are you willing to ride him for a little while if I take off and go back to Ohio on a trip?
Yep, absolutely.
Great.